Live from Studio 20 in downtown Wenatchee, this is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Welcome to a Wednesday. Right smack dab in the middle of the week, I am Dan Kuntz, your host. Steve Hare, our news director, to my immediate left. Cat in control. It's the 28th day of March, and one of the top 365 days of the year is now upon us. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Dan. You had an exciting game last night.
What a game last night.
That's soccer.
Full disclosure, I'm really punky this morning. The Wenatchee Eastmont soccer game was one for the ages. Absolutely incredible. The crowd was into it. It was exciting soccer. It was back and forth. Spoiler alert, before we get to sports, Eastmont won in a shootout. It was just an incredible game. Wenatchee took the early lead. Eastmont tied it. Then Eastmont took the lead 2-1. Yeah. Wenatchee tied it at 2-2. Then Eastmont took a 3-2 lead. Then Wenatchee tied it at 3-3. 2 5-minute overtimes. Nobody scored. Incredible goalkeeping on both sides. Then they went to the shootout. Wenatchee missed one goal. Eastmont made all 5. Eastmont won in the shootout. The talent level was incredible. The level of play was amazing to me.
Some very talented players.
Yeah. It's really funny. Dennis Tronson, the head coach of the Wenatchee Panthers, on television during the pregame show, and he's not one to exaggerate. He's not into the hyperbole thing. He doesn't do that. But he said this league, the Columbia Basin Big Nine League in boys soccer, is the best in the state, and that was proven absolutely to a T. Both student bodies were into it. It was a clean game. An exciting game, good crowd. It was just a lot of fun. We got the highlight package coming up in sports. But
excellent.
It was one of those, you get home from the broadcast, you have to take down all the gear and put everything away. And then I didn't get home till, well, it was a long game.
So where are they in the season right now?
It's
just starting.
Yeah. Wenatchee now has 2 league losses, so they got some work to do. But I still have, it's one of those deals when you get home and you have to kind of just mellow out a little bit just because you got all that excitement from an incredible high school sporting contest last night.
Well, being an East Sider, of course, I have to root for the Wildcats. So go East.
You know, it's funny. I was thinking about this yesterday when I was watching the game as I was line producing. Somehow or another, that kind of got out of my system. I kind of don't. I mean, it was just a good soccer game, and I really didn't. I'm a Panther. I wasn't real disappointed that Wenatchee lost in the way that they lost. It was just a good game.
Oh yeah.
So,
well, if you appreciate well-played soccer, well, then you were treated to quite
it was incredible. Just good stuff. Highlights are coming up. You're going to like that. Steve has the news, of course, quite a bit of news to get to. Bitcoin in the news all the time lately. We'll have that with the news with Steve Hare, the weather forecast. 64 degrees was our high yesterday, considerably warmer than what the National Weather Service was predicting. It was a strange phenomenon. It peaked about 5 o'clock. It wasn't that, it didn't gradually go up and then gradually go down. It had a little moment there for about 45 minutes when it went from like 57 to 64.
Boy, it felt good.
And then it jumped back down again. Real quickly, so will you mention this? The National Weather Service last night issued their long-term forecast for the month of April. This is what they think the month of April would start Sunday with Easter. Look this. You ready for this? The long-term forecast for April. Temperatures, normal. Precipitation, average.
Excellent.
There you go.
What could you ask for?
What more could you ask for? Forecast details are coming up. We're in for a really nice stretch of very pleasant weather as we bid March adieu and welcome April. My guest in the second half of the show is Frank Cohn, local photography buff. The guy is really cool. His backstory is how we got into photography is fascinating enough. And I think we're all familiar with Frank's work.
He's becoming something of a local icon in terms of photography.
Oh, he's really good.
Gosh, he
specializes in taking wildlife and birds, but he does people too. Frank paid me a visit a couple of days ago. We actually taped that interview in advance, and you'll see that in the second half of the show. As we mentioned before, we got sports, the obscure holiday, today in history, birthdays. Everyone is entitled to Mike Magnotti's opinion. You're going to like it as well. And I think we've previewed the show enough. You ready to do what we do to begin each show?
I want to see what it looks like out there.
It's a beautiful morning. It's a beautiful morning. Let's see what we look at that.
Oh, there you are, sunrise.
Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. You know what? I've got a beautiful feeling.
Hey,
everything is going to go my way.
Okay.
I don't even know where that came from. It came out of nowhere. Good morning, Wenatchee Valley. Look at the sun bathing the Sunny Slope area. And what's that?
Thank you, Gordon.
Yeah, you're welcome. Birch Mountain getting bathed in sunlight. We had a few high clouds, held the heat in. It's pretty warm, 43 right now. Good morning, Wenatchee Valley. The cross camera pullback. That's a reminder. The cross camera, Randy Smith, the man who kind of does the cross, for lack of a better term.
He established it.
He did. He'll be my guest on this program on Good Friday.
Look at that river this morning. It's a mirror.
Absolutely gorgeous. Let's see what we got coming up next here. I don't know. We'll find out together. A slow dissolve to
Steinsville?
I think that's Monitor.
Monitor?
That's Monitor
Okay.
pointing towards Kashmir. The Wenatchee River plainly in view. The highway as people make their commute. The orchards are sitting there. And the snow slowly beginning to recede higher and higher in elevation. Passes, by the way, look good too. Those details are coming up. Good morning, Kashmir.
Kashmir and Monitor.
Camera 3.
Wow, here we are, out in the plateau.
In the plateau. No, that's
the basin.
That's the basin. I think that's Monument. It's
Monument
gotta
Hill
be
looking
Monument.
towards Quincy.
Yep.
Where opportunities are unlimited.
They are
right?
absolutely unlimited out there in Quincy. My friend Sebastian Moraga, who calls our soccer games, he lives in Kashmir, works in Quincy, so he does that commute every day. He says he likes it. It's a good thing. He likes working out there. Anyway, good morning to our friends in Quincy. Good to have you on board. And finally, camera 4 is Billy Goat. There we go again. Moved a little bit. Moved just a little bit towards the Methow River. You know what? This brings up an interesting point, Steve. I don't know how much we can move the camera where the tower is. We talk about how we can move the cameras all over the place. We can zoom in and out and go up and down. But we only have about a 340-degree radius because the cameras are supported by a tower.
Right.
And if you turn it all the way around, all you get is a pole, you know, or a wire or something. But I'm interested to see how much we can move that camera up the Methow Valley.
Oh, that would be
Wouldn't
neat.
that be cool? We'll play with that.
Highway 153.
Yeah, we'll play with that one of these days.
Heading
and
up
see what we
towards
can do.
Twisp. and-
Yeah, beautiful downtown Twisp and, of course, suburban Twisp.
That's right.
The great town of Methow itself.
The greater Methow
The
Valley.
greater Methow Valley, sure. Beautiful area up there. All of these cameras, courtesy of Localtel's Sky-Fi high-speed wireless internet. What does that mean? You don't have to have fiber run to your house. They put up a dish and boom, you're in.
That's right.
And you can get super-duper high-speed, super-fast, gooey good internet without having to run a fiber to your house.
In Douglas, Chelan, and Grant County.
And Grant County, yeah. It's a cool deal. 7 minutes after the hour. Your weather forecast from the National Weather Service. What?
Forgot to mention.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wenatchee World came out with its best
Yeah.
list of
World's best? Yeah.
Local
Oh,
as
good.
the Valley's best cable provider.
They should just retire that award and just give it to them.
I
They win
think
it
so,
every
too,
year. Yeah. For good reason.
Congratulations, Local.
Yes, good job indeed. All right, your weather forecast from the National Weather Service looks like that. As you can see, temperatures slightly above normal, normally about 57, 58.
Gosh, I like those
This time of year.
60-degree highs.
Look at those afternoon high temperatures. Easter Sunday, partly sunny and 61. We can live with that. Friday, the golf course beckons.
Actually, the Lincoln Park beckons me because we're going to be taking the trailer out.
Oh, that's
Friday.
right. You're going camping.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term. Real quickly, I want to mention Saturday's forecast. Last Saturday, they had to cancel the Antioch Kite Festival because it was cold and it was snowing and it was ughy. So Saturday up in Antioch, it's going to be considerably better, but you need wind to fly a kite, and there is literally no wind at all in the forecast on Saturday. Just a heads up on that. Now, they don't need a lot of wind.
No, about
Just a little
12 miles
breeze.
an hour, yeah.
But right now, just a heads up
I
for
was
you
thinking
folks
about
in
heading
Antioch.
up for that because I'm a pretty good kite flyer myself.
Are you?
The acrobatic type flight. Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I learned something about you every day, Steve. So there's your forecast. Pretty simple, pretty normal, no real precipitation at all. Residual winds tonight. Wind out of the northwest about 7 to 15 miles an hour tonight. That's it for the wind. If you want to go fly a kite, your best day during the day would be Friday. Sunshine 64, wind out of the west 6 to 13 miles an hour. It is kite flying season.
It is.
Springtime is, absolutely it is. 9 minutes after the hour, live from Studio 15 in downtown Wenatchee, to the passes we go. And we will start out with a live shot of Snoqualmie Pass. Right now, no advisories, no restrictions. The roadway is bare and wet. This is strange. Avalanche control, heads up, tomorrow. I kid you not. They are scheduled avalanche control tomorrow, not today, tomorrow at 9 a.m. Now
My
that's
goodness.
a heads up.
Wow.
Yeah, it's on their website. I'm looking at it right now. So tomorrow morning, they're going to be doing some avalanche control on I-90, but not today. No problems at all. Turn on your headlights, please.
Tale of two sides of the state here.
Let's go to Stevens Pass. Traction tires advised. Roadway is bare and wet. Some snow and slush in places. It's a rain-snow mix and some pretty thick fog in places on Stevens Pass. Again, traction tires are advised there. Blue is looking fine. Clear skies up above. Everyone is in love. No advisories, no restrictions. Nothing really coming down. A rain-snow mix for a little while on Stevens. That's going to die off. No precipitation. I'm looking at the forecast real quickly, Steve, for the mountain passes. I don't see anything.
I've seen some beautiful pictures up on Mission Ridge Ski Resort over the last couple of days. They've been sharing some images on Facebook, and I'll tell you some beautiful spring skiing conditions up there.
They had a good snow year. They had a really good snow year. So there you go. And again, avalanche control work on I-90 Thursday. Heads up there. 10 minutes after the hour, going to take a quick break. When we come back, this gentleman to my left does a very unique job around the broadcast metroplex. He decides what the news is and then tells us to go out and cover it. And then he gets all the credit. No, he does his job so well, which is why we hired him at just an enormous salary. Can't believe the kind of money this guy makes. Steve Hare has the news in 1 minute. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live from Studio 2 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
High school sports is back this spring on the NCW Life channel. Do you like baseball? We've got you covered with the Wenatchee Panthers and the Eastmont Wildcats. How about softball? We have you covered there too with fast pitch action right here. How about lacrosse? Yep, got you covered there too with the Wenatchee Valley Thunder. And of course, there's boys soccer. Whatever your interest, we've got you covered on your home for high school spring sports, the NCW Life channel.
Honda makes jets, robots, lawnmowers, motorcycles, boat motors. They're so well known and have a history of making quality machines and engines that's why we're willing to put on our automobiles a lifetime warranty. You know, some manufacturers, if they put this warranty on their vehicles, they'd lose money. Not with Honda. If you're betting against a Honda, you're a bad gambler. They're really well known for winning. My name is David Gonzalez, and I'm a product specialist at Apple Valley Honda.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
Well, good morning and welcome to a Wednesday. Again, Wake Up Wenatchee Valley includes my local news, and here we go. Here's what's happening around north central Washington. First of all, Bitcoin mining has been temporarily shut down in the city of East Wenatchee after the city council last night imposed a 6-month moratorium. Now, cryptocurrency was the main topic of discussion at last night's council meeting. Council passed an ordinance which adopts interim zoning controls over mining operations in commercial and residential districts. Quite a bit of discussion by the board on this topic. Councilmember Matthew Hepner commented on how blockchain technology could have a significant impact on the local ag industry as well.
They did a study, actually. They're one of the biggest logistics companies in the world. They took a mango off of the shelf and were able, to scan the code, find out which tree came from which orchard, the whole transmission line of how it got from wherever it was grown to that store shelf. And before it would take about a week to do that, it took 2.7 seconds. So that's what we'll be able to do with our agricultural industry here. There are companies in the valley that are working on the blockchain technology now. And I think they have every right, and it's actually a really good investment for the community if we do it right. But we do have to be involved. We have to be at the tables in those conversations. And I think that's what the Economic Development Board is recognizing, and they're going to be moving at full steam on that. How do we bring in blockchain, and how do we bring it in equitably for the community if they are using our public facilities and our public power?
Now again, the City Council last night imposed the 6-month moratorium. Now during the next 6 months, the city will be working to establish zoning rules for where and how Bitcoin mining will be allowed in the future. They're doing this in conjunction with the Douglas County PUD to ensure that any future Bitcoin mining operations don't overburden the power grid. Also, Congressman Dan Newhouse met with a group of farmers and ranchers yesterday in East Wenatchee, part of his district-wide ag listening tour of central Washington. The congressman was seeking input on the pending federal farm bill, but the discussion touched on a variety of issues of concern, including government overregulation, water, labor, and trade. Newhouse talked afterwards with NCW Life News.
So during this 2-week period that I'm able to be home because of the Easter recess, I decided to take the time I have to travel around the district to hold meetings, primarily to talk about the upcoming farm bill that's being considered in Congress right now, because that's the timely issue that we're working on, and to hear from people what their priorities are, what they want to see passed in a farm bill, what they want to see not happen in a farm bill, just as importantly. But to really get a feel from people what they're thinking, some of the things that are important to them at the time. And as you said, not all things that are important and people are on their minds has to do with farm bill issues. You know, there's labor and trade and regulation. Many of the things that maybe the farm bill doesn't touch specifically, but all works together to work on a business climate that people can be successful in. So I needed to hear all of those things.
What is the environment in Congress right now to maybe achieve some of the goals that have been set out for you in regards to some of these wants?
Well, I think we have an opportunity now, certainly with the new administration and kind of a fresh outlook on creating a business climate that's conducive to success. I think we have a window of opportunity for making some of these important changes. So we're trying to grasp that opportunity to seize the moment and make some of these important policy direction changes.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And again, Congressman Newhouse was also set to meet yesterday in Pateros with another group of farmers and ranchers. Then he was also scheduled today to meet again for the same purpose with farmers and ag groups in the Quincy and in the Odessa areas as well today. Also, he'll be visiting yesterday, as a matter of fact, as part of his tour of Wenatchee. He also had a driving tour of the Apple Capitol Loop Trail. Meanwhile, in other news this morning, the case of the deputy versus the Chelan County Sheriff's Office may not be over just yet. In a motion that was filed last week, the attorney representing Chelan County asked Judge John Hotchkiss to lower the damage award to Deputy Jennifer Tyler in the amount of $500,000 or schedule a new trial. Following the week-long trial early this month in Douglas County Superior Court, Tyler was awarded the damages after a jury found that the Sheriff's Department was guilty of wrongful employment retaliation. The motion asked the judge to schedule a retrial or order a reduction of damages. Tyler was awarded the $500,000 plus $6,500 in lost wages back on March 7th. Tyler's attorneys argued that the trial was fair. The award was not out of line, and Tyler's responses on the stand were not prejudicial. Judge Hotchkiss told the court he will review both sides of the case and will have an answer sometime in early August. A trial date will be set on April 4th for a Peshastin man accused of 5 counts of first-degree child rape and 1 count of second-degree child rape. 51-year-old Theron Heidemann also faces 3 counts of child molestation and 2 counts of incest, alleging he sexually abused 4 children while in his care dating back to 2001. Heidemann pleaded not guilty to the charges. He remains in the Chelan County Regional Justice Center on $100,000 bond. Now, between 1999 and 2009, members of his family made multiple allegations of abuse to the Sheriff's Office and Child Protective Services, but those investigations never resulted in criminal charges or the state's intervention. 3 of his adult children are now suing the Department of Social and Health Services, accusing the agency of failing to protect them when they were minors. That case is scheduled for trial in August in Douglas County Superior Court. Well, a Dryden man has been fined over $100,000 by the Washington State Department of Ecology for illegally placing fill dirt in the Wenatchee River and removing vegetation along the river shoreline. The Department of Ecology says Jeffrey Kinzel's actions disrupt how the river would naturally flow, threatens nearby private property and public roads and bridges, while hampering downstream salmon recovery efforts. The Washington Department of Ecology levied the penalty against Kinzel for illegal construction in the river channel without getting all necessary plans, permits, or authorizations. Well, the U.S. Forest Service will be accepting job applications for a number of spring and summer temporary jobs located at ranger districts in Cle Elum, Natchez, Winthrop, and Tonasket, and other Forest Service offices in East Wenatchee and Moses Lake. Now, the positions available in multiple fields include natural resources, timber, fire, dispatch support, recreation, and visitor services. You can submit your applications online at www.usajobs.gov between April 3rd and 9th. you can go to our website at ncwlife.com for more information and contact links for those individual Ranger District offices. Well, Wenatchee's newest police officer received a shocking lesson in law enforcement recently. And if the rigors of the basic law enforcement academy were not enough, Officer Natalie Bryn Jones, pictured here with Chief Steve Crown, getting her certificate of completion at the academy here recently. She completed also the mandatory TASER certification training. She elected to take a full charge from the TASER, including probes. Thanks to the Wenatchee Police Department for sharing this little video.
2, 3, 6.
She rode the buffalo, you might say. Lead TASER instructor Detective Eric Bakke deployed the TASER, while Officer Joe Eaton and Eric Magnuson ensured that Officer Bryn Jones was safely lowered to the ground. And I feel her pain. I've gone through the TASER training myself, and it's not fun.
No.
But I'll tell you what, it gives you a greater appreciation for non-lethal force.
We don't have video. I know that Steve did that. He took the TASER thing a number of years ago.
Yeah.
Video doesn't exist, but audio does, because
Yeah.
you play the tape every now and again, and you've never heard Steve, the sound that came out of you has
Well,
never
Mike-
and replicated.
Mike Magnotti was actually there as well. He was a sergeant with the Wenatchee Police Department, so he actually was observing. And it was me and Detective Marty Bryant who shared a probe. Now, Officer Bryn Jones, or you can see, he took both probes while standing up. Well, we were on our knees, took the probe, and they gave us like a 3-second jolt. I was nose first into the wrestling pad on the ground there. But I had a nice bruise on my chest afterwards. It was like getting kicked by a horse, and I felt it for a week.
And the noise that you made is classic. It cannot be replicated. Here's an idea. Let's do that tomorrow.
What's
right
that?
here, live on the air. We'll close out the news and we'll give you another shot of the TASER.
I
A little trip down memory
let
lane.
me try it this time. No?
No, not going to happen. The news with Grant Olson comes your way at 5 o'clock, 6
What
o'clock.
a wuss.
And yes, I am. I freely admit that. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. I might screw up my golf swing. I can't have that happening. Grant does the news. Jay Seaback is filling in this week for Eric Granstrom. Jay will have sports, an extended sports report with Jay coming up today as well. So 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. And if you want to be a part of the news team, you don't get paid, but we sure appreciate it. Steve, do the honors.
Absolutely. We very much appreciate your participation. You're our eyes and ears out there in the Wenatchee Valley. And if you see news happening, give us a call on our hotline. That's 888-NCWL. Contact us by email at news@ncwlife.com. As always, we're available on Facebook and Twitter, so watch out for that. And then on our website at ncwlife.com, just click the little contact tab at the top of the page and let us know what's on your mind.
It is 43 degrees outside, a couple of high clouds, quite a bit of sunshine today, a little bit of a wind of about 60 degrees, and for the most part, pretty darn sunny for the rest of the weekend into the weekend. Temperatures slightly above normal. It's partly sunny and 61, by the way, on Easter Sunday, which is Sunday. 23 minutes after the hour. If you weren't at Lee Bofto Field of the Apple Bowl last night, you missed out on a classic, but we got the highlights between the Wildcats and the Panthers. Boys soccer, when we come back, sports is just 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
We know crunch.
My name is Valerie Gray. I'm the Nutrition Service Manager at Wenatchee High School. If the bond passes, it would mean that we would be capable of serving many more students in a more timely manner. It would eliminate a lot of equipment problems that we have now that slow us down and present challenges to us every day. Our equipment is old. We've learned to work with it as best we can, but not having to fight the equipment every day would be a huge bonus.
"25 minutes after the hour on this Wednesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Thanks for starting your day with us here on the NCW Life Channel. It was an electric atmosphere. Two really, really good high school soccer teams in the traditional battle. It is Eastmont at Wenatchee last night. It was an incredible game. If you were there, you know it was an incredible game. Here are your highlights. Enjoy.
Camarillo battling it out on the corner of the 18. Camarillo enters, leaves one behind. The shot. Goal, 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 goal! Wenatchee Panthers take the lead. 13 minutes, 3 seconds. And Jose Camarillo puts Wenatchee up ahead 1-0. Matt Wisen. The nerves of steel. The right foot. The shot. Goal, 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 goal! Beautiful strike. Eastmont ties it up. Flavio Espinosa at the edge of halftime. Shot across. Out of the box. This could be interesting. Right foot. Goal, 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 goal. Carlos Viramontes for the Wenatchee Panthers. Flavio Espinosa off to the races. Espinosa enters the box. Leaves his marker behind. Shot across. Goal, 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 goal.
Great finish. Great.
Goal! Eastmont Wildcats, Johan Espinosa. If this ends 2-2, what are the rules for the Big Nine contest?
2 5-minute golden goal overtime periods. Still tied. Then we
There's
go
a shot. Go, 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 go!
Then we go to penalties.
Flavio Espinosa with another tally for the Eastmont Wildcats.
What a goal. Yeah, just outside the 18-yard box. As soon as the ball came to him, put the first touch out of his feet and absolutely let rip into the far left-hand corner. What a goal there from Flavio Espinosa.
There's the throw-in. Pivoting header. Go, 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 go! Wenatchee Panthers.
Sebastian Moraga, Matt Wisen, and Neil Oyston on the call. So regulation ended tied at 3 apiece after 90 minutes of incredible soccer. They played the first overtime. Nobody has scored with some great goalkeeping on both sides. Second overtime, nobody scored. Again, goalkeeping highlighting. They went to a shootout. Wenatchee missed 1 goal on the penalty kick shootout. It came down to 1 shot for Eastmont to take it. And here it is.
Eastmont scores this penalty kick, they win. The responsibility is on the shoulders of Nate Balaudo, who had a good game today.
He's got to just keep his composure. He's just got to keep calm, pick his spot, and the win is theirs.
Balaudo and Calderilla. Right foot, goal, 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 goal! And Eastmont takes it. And penalty kicks by a score of 5-4. The celebration is tinted in red and white. And the Eastmont fans are going bananas here at the Apple Bowl.
It was a one for the ages, no doubt about that. When we replay that match, and we will replay that match probably on multiple occasions, we will be sure to let you know. Congratulations to the Wildcats knocking out their rivals last night in penalty kicks. Just a great, great game. J.C. Beck will have more sports, by the way, with the news at 5 o'clock tonight. All right, 28 minutes after the hour. The obscure holiday of the day today, March 28th, is always something on a stick day. Something on a stick day. When I think of food on a stick, I immediately think popsicles or fudge sickles. I think most people do, obviously. Corn dogs, either just regular corn dogs. Hot dogs at a campfire is popular. Shrimp, a lot of Chinese food is eaten on a stick. Cocktail wieners and cheese, things at parties that you poke at with a toothpick and eat that way is always fun. You can do all kinds of food on a stick. A couple things on a stick simply don't work. Spaghetti, things like that. But sometime during the course of the day, when you have your little snack at the office or you go out for lunch, be sure to make a point of eating something on a stick. For me, it's going to be a fudge-sickle. I just crave one right now. That is the obscure holiday of the day for March 28th. It is March 28th, today in history. His name was Dr. Albert Voss. He was a dentist in the United Kingdom, in Manchester specifically, but to get the anesthetics it took to become a quality dentist, he couldn't get them in England. He had to go to the mainland to get them and then go back to England. And he started to fly back and forth in 1933 in the very early days of commercial aviation. Dr. Voss would fly to Europe, get the anesthetics, and fly back to Great Britain. And that kind of snowballed into drug smuggling. Dr. Albert Voss got into the illicit smuggling of anesthetics that he wasn't supposed to do. The authorities were closing in on him, and he knew it. He was in trouble. And on this date, March 28th, 1933, 85 years ago today, on a flight aboard the City of Liverpool, Dr. Albert Voss set fire to the airplane, and right before the airplane went down, he jumped out, figuring, I'll get away with it. He didn't. He died, and the other 14 people on board the plane died. It was the first time an airplane, was lost to sabotage when Dr. Albert Voss set fire to the City of Liverpool while it was flying on this date 85 years ago today. It's never happened before. It will never happen again. But 68 years ago today, in 1950, CCNY, the Community College of New York, defeated Bradley 71-68 to win the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. 2 weeks earlier, the Community College of New York defeated Bradley as well, 69-61 to win the NIT Championship. They remain the only team to win both the NCAA tournament and the NIT championship in the same year. Back in those days, 68 years ago, the NIT was considered a much more important tournament than the NCAA. Now the NCAA owns the NIT tournament, so that can't happen anymore. It was an incredible double. It has never happened before, and of course, it can never happen again. But the Community College of New York wins both the NCAA and the NIT championship within a week of each other on this day back in 1950. And if you're around on this date, 1979, you remember the 3 Mile Island accident. A coolant leak at Unit Number 2 at 3 Mile Island, just outside of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, led to the core overheating, a partial meltdown. It is the worst and the most significant nuclear accident in U.S. commercial nuclear power plant history. It took them 14 years and $1 billion to clean it up, and 3 Mile Island became synonymous with the dangers of nuclear energy. It happened on this date in 1979. And now we got birthdays at 32 minutes after the hour. Gussie Busch was born on this date in 1899. He inherited his dad's brewery, the Anheuser-Busch Company. He inherited it in 1946 when his dad died, and he turned the Anheuser-Busch Company into the largest single brewery in the world while he was chairman of that company from 1946 to 1975. They were by far the largest brewery in the world. And of course, he also owned the St. Louis Cardinals. He owned the Cardinals, but he didn't own the stadium. The St. Louis Browns owned the stadium. When the Browns moved out of town, he bought the stadium, renovated Sportsman's Park, and wanted to call it Budweiser Stadium. Major League Baseball said, you can't do that. Can't let you do that, name it after a product. Think about that. And so he said, can I call it Busch Stadium after myself? And they said, that you can do. And so Sportsman's Park became Busch Stadium, and then Gussie Busch came out with Busch Beer, an end around. Gussie Busch, born in the state in 1899, died in 1989 at the age of 90. Marlin Perkins, there's a name from the past. Marlin Perkins, Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. Marlin Perkins was born in the state in 1905, passed away in 1986 at the age of 81, an absolute staple around my household growing up. I don't think I ever missed an episode of Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. For one thing, it was really cool to look at. Marlin Perkins, born in this state in 1905. And Stephanie Joanne Angelina Germanata celebrates her birthday today. You know her as Lady Gaga. She sings, she dances, she plays music. She's an actress, she's a producer. Lady Gaga is 32 years old today. She headlined the Super Bowl halftime show 2 Super Bowls ago, February of 2017. Super Bowl 51, total audience of over 150 million people, made it the most musical event in history, the most watched musical event in history. Lady Gaga, like her or hate her, she's out there. She's 32 years old today. Going to take a quick break. When we come back, everyone is entitled to Mike Manotti's opinion on my interview with Frank Cohn, one of the best photographers you will see anywhere. And he brought some of his best images. You're going to love that conversation. It's coming up on this Wednesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
The Arbiter of Stoke is a series that highlights a variety of outdoor adventure sports that are available in the Pacific Northwest. I dedicate my time to enjoying this natural playground. The decision is yours. How will you keep your stoke?
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Life Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Head.
Catch us on Local Tel Channel 12.
You can watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Where we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Life channel.
With 15,000 square feet to explore, you'll find something special at the Antique Mall at Cashmere. For the do-it-yourselfers and those with a keen eye for making something old fresh and new again, the Antique Mall at Cashmere is the place to come find your next project. From the coin enthusiasts to avid collectors, Antique Mall at Cashmere has treasures in every corner. Come find your treasure today. Antique Mall at Cashmere's friendly staff is here to help. Stop on by today.
Hi, I'm Lehman Williams, General Manager of Crown Furniture, and I'm inviting you to take advantage of our spring closeout savings event. Save up to 45% off store-wide. Since 1963, Crown Furniture has taken great pride in providing unsurpassed quality, comfort, and selection. So if you're looking to fill that first-time apartment, or you want that built-in America quality with your own custom flair, stop by today and see us at 736 South Wenatchee Avenue, across from Stan's.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, one of the many suggestions being kicked around to deter school shootings is improved mental health services. Well, I agree with the concept that better identification of potential shooting perpetrators and the application of directed and subjective services to these individuals is definitely a step in the right direction. However, as with all suggestions to deter school shootings, better mental health services, it's a limited answer, as mental health counseling is only effective if the individual receiving the counseling wants to be helped. You know, that old joke comes to mind. How many counselors does it take to change a light bulb? Well, only one, but the light bulb has to want to be changed. It's true. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Plumbing, heating, or cooling repair, Patriot will be right there.
Is your home as comfortable as you like? This Lennox dealer can help.
Make your home comfortable with a Lennox system from Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Call Patriot today.
Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling will give your home a hug.
Get up to $1,700 in rebates or special financing.
And we are back on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. My guest today, you've seen his pictures everywhere. They're on the internet, the good kind of internet. A great deal of time in the Wenatchee world. You'll see a couple of pictures from Frank Cohn, who's one of my favorite people. I ran into him at Albertsons last week and I said, Frank, Coney, you got to do the show. And even though you've seen the show, you agreed to do the show, Frank.
Yes, that's true.
I don't know what you were thinking. So, interest of full disclosure, Frank's dad, Charlie, a very well-known attorney here in town and then later on a judge. When my dad moved up from, my dad practiced law, got his law degree at Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas, practiced law in Texas after that for a couple of years, relocated the family in the early 1960s back to Wenatchee where my dad was born and raised, and his very first law partner was your dad.
Wow.
So we go back.
We go back. There's history.
Yeah, we have that little connection. And his dad, Charlie, was one of my favorite people. Thanks for joining me.
Of course.
You brought one of it. First of all, talk about the tool you just brought with you.
This is my camera. This is a Nikon D500, and this is a Sigma 150 to 600 millimeter lens. My wife calls it the stocking lens. I call it my bird lens. So.
Look, so you can shoot a long way away and get really nice photos,
Yeah, this
right?
actually has a crop sensor, which means it's not a full-size sensor. It's smaller, So it actually gives us, there's a 1.5 crop factor, so it gives this lens a 900 millimeter, which gives me a lot of reach.
So for the photography buffs out there who are watching this show, and there are many, many hundreds of them, are they drooling right now? Are they looking at this Nikon and you're going, that's nice?
Well, they might be, yes. So.
There's an old saying, it's the singer, not the song. Is it the lens and not the camera, or do both of them have to really get together?
You go for the glass. You get a good camera, but you go for you want the lens. So yeah.
So the analogy is you can buy a really, really expensive stereo system, but if you have two lousy speakers, you waste your time.
That is yeah. You end up spending more money on lenses than you do on the camera. So.
And how many? This is obviously one of many lenses. I'm assuming you have a few.
I have a lot of lenses. I tried to leave this one permanently on this camera, so I decreased the dust factor on the sensor that way, but it still sneaks in there. So.
How long have you been taking pictures?
I've been doing it since my wife and I went on a cruise 10 or 12 years ago, and this is how I got into it. We were at Costco and she wanted to buy a camera, and I was looking at the point and shoots, and she said, I think I want to get a Nikon, and I think it was a Nikon D50 at that time, and it was fantastically expensive, at least I thought it was. Mm-hmm. And she said, no, I'm getting it, and I don't often disagree with my wife, so she bought the camera, and we were on the cruise like 3 days into the cruise, and I at that point I was not giving her the camera back. I was hoarding the camera. So.
All digital.
All digital.
All digital.
Yeah, if I can demonstrate real quick.
Go ahead.
This camera, I can put this in. The reason I bought this camera because I do shoot a lot of birds, and this has a 200 shot buffer. Let me get this down here this way. I can take a lot of pictures really fast. So.
Oh, wow.
And I can do that for 200 shots, and it won't, most cameras have a lag, after you take a certain amount of shots, it will start lagging, but I don't have that problem. That's why I got this camera.
So you got back from the cruise, you have an expensive camera.
Yeah, well, and it's not this camera.
And it's not this one. And then
it just kind of, there was a lot of trial and error, we had a lot of flowers in our backyard, and I would take pictures of bees because I had the lens. I could get close, and if you look at my Flickr page or something, there's hundreds and hundreds of pictures of flowers with bees flying around because that was my thing, I guess. And so, but then I expanded out. So.
Was there an epiphany moment when you went, I think I'm pretty good at taking pictures?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I guess I'm kind of always striving to do better. That's just me, though. So.
Did you have to do a lot of research on f-stop and shutter speed, or did you just?
I did, and I would go out. I would go to like Barnes and Noble, and I would buy the great big photography books, and I would, you open up those things and you think, oh, I'm gonna study. I'm gonna get into this, and you start reading, and then I'd fall asleep. And so I actually started watching YouTube videos on how to manipulate the camera. So. And I was a kind of a purist for a while. I went into I did all where you just do manual, and then I branched out from there.
Is film dead?
I don't think film's dead. No, I think a lot of people still shoot film. When I go out and shoot, I'll meet other photographers that shoot film. So, and they love it, and they're kind of opposed to digital.
Mm-hmm. Photography, the technological investments are insane.
They're insane.
Over the last 15, 20 years. Basically, since the advent of digital, almost anybody can go to full auto and take a pretty darn nice picture. Yeah. And yet you take the most incredible photos, frankly, I've ever seen. Is it all about taking your time and getting it all done right?
I think it's putting in the time, learning how to use a camera. I think that's you can go full auto and do that, but I think if you want to break out a little bit, I think you need to go into manual and aperture and those modes and kind of explore what you can do with the camera. You might go back to those basics, but it gives you kind of a full range of what to do. So.
Give me what's your number one piece of advice for an amateur photographer, somebody who started out like you, bought a pretty nice camera, but really don't know how to get into the guts of it. What's your number one piece of advice to an amateur photographer who says, I take good pictures, but I want to take better pictures? What would be your advice to them?
It would be to first read the manual.
There you go.
And I know that sounds boring and everything, but really read the manual, really get to know your camera. and what it can do and what the limitations are. So that would be my one piece of advice.
Now you brought a bunch of pictures with you, and we're going to take a quick commercial break shortly and start showing some of those photos. How much of the photos we're about to see, how much of it was, I'm going to go out and I'm going to sit here and I planned this whole thing out and this is what I want to shoot today, and how much of it was you're driving down the road in your Subaru and you see something and you pull over and you take a shot of it?
I say probably about half and half. I do. That happens to me quite a bit when I have my wife and my son in the car. I often pull over to the side of the road because something catches my eye. So a lot of times when I go out to shoot birds, I do go specifically out to shoot birds. If I'm going out to shoot like a heron or an eagle, when I'm specifically looking for a bird, because sometimes I know where they are, I'll do that. Oftentimes I'll end up shooting something else like a mountain sheep or a mountain goat or something like that.
Last week, you had an incredible shot of a bald eagle that you took down. We're in Walla Walla Point Park, I want to say. Was that the one I saw last week? I can't remember. It was a bird, and it was a stunning shot, and it was credited to you.
Probably, yes.
So.
Yeah, it was either at it was up in Aniat or maybe at Walla Walla. So.
How did people find out? I mean, did Rufus Woods call you up and say, "Frank, I love your photos. Can you send me some?"
Do you know Marco Martinez?
Very well. Yeah, he's on the editorial board.
Yeah, he calls me up or sends me an email and says, "Can we use this photo?" And I have a Flickr site, and he pulls my photos from there.
So, and you brought me a flash drive full of photos.
I did.
And it's just a random selection. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, you're going to see in beautiful high definition with stereophonic sound some of the best works of Mr. Frank Cohn, a local. I'm going to call you a local photography genius because I'm allowed to do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
More with Frank Cohn when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, and this is Guada TV. Every week we will be bringing you a first look at North Central Washington business, tech, and education news. You'll hear from local influencers and innovators who live right here in the Valley. Together, we'll discuss hot topics, current events, and resources that can support your business, our schools, and this community. Join me every week, and let's get inspired.
How about having majestic mountains, a beautiful shoreline, and 26 acres of lush walking trails be the backdrop of your special event? Lake Wenatchee YMCA Camp has cabins, meeting spaces, and a lodge with a kitchen that will accommodate large gatherings. Our staff at Lake Wenatchee YMCA Camp will work with you to ensure that your wedding, retreat, class reunion, or birthday is amazing. Reserve your day today.
Hi, I'm Cordell Schroeder, owner of East Wenatchee Mobile Storage.
If you're thinking about making a move anytime soon, check out the East Wenatchee Mini Storage brand new mobile storage service. They drop it off at your location, you pack it, and they pick it up and store it in their protected warehouse at East Wenatchee for as long as you need. When you're ready, they'll drop it off at your new home or office. East Wenatchee Mini Storage is excited to offer this brand new service to our region.
Call 509-884-8643 or find us on the web at ewministorage.com.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
And we are back. I am Dan Kuntz alongside Frank Cohn once again to hit Control-Alt-Delete. I've known Frank for quite some time, and we ran into each other at Albertsons the other day. And I said, Frank, come do my show and bring some photos with you. And you did.
I actually carried through, yes.
Exactly that. So what we have here is just a bunch of random photos you brought on a flash drive. I asked you to bring just a general assortment of some of the great work that you do. And Kat, our producer, is going to throw them up one at a time, Frank, and let our viewers know what exactly we're looking at.
This was a train that came through Wenatchee about a month or so ago, and I noticed it because it was orange. And I was down near Office Depot, and I always carry my cameras with me, and I drove to where the train stops, and I saw this train, and I took pictures, and I asked the people on the train, and it was they were celebrating someone's birthday. Someone
Must have been a milestone.
A milestone, yeah. So, and a lot of money. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Do you know where it was on its way from, or where it was going to?
I think it was on from the Seattle area. I don't know where it was going to. Probably Spokane.
Yeah. That's a cool thing.
Yeah.
Next photo is going to be, and I'm going to be guessing this as we do. That is a bug.
That's a bug. That's a spider. That was down at Riverfront Park, right at Walla Walla, and in the bushes and the along the fence there. I think this is, some people tell me it's a cat face spider, because if you look at the face of the spider, it says it looks a little bit like a cat. I don't really see that, but it's a big spider.
I was going to say, well, how big
and I
is
saw
that?
it with this lens because I could stay a long distance away.
Yeah, I was going to say, far away the better.
It's probably an inch and a half.
But how did that catch your eye to begin with? Were you just kind of scanning around bushes and
well,
there it was?
I'd seen him walking along the river, and I wanted to get a picture, and so I kind of walked right along the fence line, and when I found one, I took a picture of it.
And that really, as we go to the next photo, you like to go down to the river as much as anything else, don't you?
I go to the river a lot. So.
Yeah.
This is on the way to Aniat, and there's a tree there where eagles frequent, and I hike over just the rail line, and he was sitting there. And eagles and raptors are pretty skittish for the most part. So, and he sat there a while, and then he saw something and decided to leave.
Is that basically the same thing, or is that?
No, this is at Sunny Slope. He was at Sleepy Hollow Bridge actually, and he was just sitting in a tree. And I pulled up my car and parked, and he sat there for 5 or 10 minutes, and then he decided to leave. This is him just about to bolt out of there.
What an incredible shot. Next photo, please. That's just nuts. That's how beautiful that is. Now that's even cooler. Is this time lapse?
It's kind of time lapse. What I did at the camera I showed earlier that takes a lot of frames, about every other frame, and then I used Photoshop, and this is out towards Dryden actually, and so every second shot I just used Photoshop to paint in the eagle, so just to get us.
Are there a lot more bald eagles around here than people know of, or you just happen to know exactly where to go to shoot them?
There are, and the other thing, this is why I always tell people who are looking for birds and trees, I think they look like, when they're sitting in a tree, I think they look like a football. So if you're walking down riverfront or something and you look into the trees and there's this football-shaped thing, it's a bird probably. So.
And there's another one probably.
This is a black and white, and this is out at Sleepy Hollow too. And he was sitting right near the bridge, and I captured him just as he was leaving. So
that's
I have hundreds of pictures of birds leaving. So
that is not an eagle. I'm going to go out on a limb here.
That's a great blue heron, and that was right at Walla Walla Point. And there's a lot of herons down there. They're very good at hiding. I got pretty close to this one. The reason I like this one a lot, though, is because he's kind of giving me the eye there.
He is.
And he does look like he's.
I think he's posing.
Yes, so.
As a matter of fact.
So. That's an osprey, and that's over at Porter's Pond in East Wenatchee, and osprey, he caught a fish.
Yeah, so. I was going to say, is it catching it right then and there?
He's just lifting out of the water after catching the fish. So.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
A lot of patience involved in this. Do you have to have a lot of built-in patience to sit and wait for just the right shot?
Well, I try to go where birds are, and I usually spend 10 or 15 minutes there. And if I don't have anything, then I go somewhere else. So, but usually one comes by. This is another heron. I take a lot of pictures of herons, and he was. This is at Porter's Pond also, and he was just walking around and then flying around, and then I caught him here lifting out of the water. So
has the Audubon Society gotten a hold of you, Frank, and say we want some of these?
I actually, my friend Bruce McCannon, he's sponsoring the local Audubon photos, and they have contests. I submitted some photos.
Did you win?
I haven't. I don't know yet.
That looks like our friend Tom Potter from the Arbiter of Stoke. Is that where's that?
Tumwater Canyon.
Tumwater Canyon. Okay.
And I was driving along, and this was in the winter. And I saw a couple kayakers there, and I jumped out of the car, and because I always do carry my cameras with me. Always. So.
I don't know how many more photos we have left, but that is back to.
That's a Merlin, and the reason I took that one, he's kind of looking at me. So.
And that's a perfect example of a bird hiding, isn't it?
It's a bird hiding, yeah. So. Or staring you down, staring contest, and I always lose those.
You always lose those.
I took that last night.
Wow, just like that.
Just like that. That was the moon last night. I saw it out there and I went out and took it.
Do you have any idea how many photos you've taken in the last 12 years since you got the bug? Pardon the pun.
Probably, I would say, between 40 and 50,000 photos.
Wow. Up near the Aniad area, I'm guessing?
Near the Aniad area,
Yep.
yeah. So really close to the road. So they're pretty docile. I did get stopped by the State Patrol did stop as I was taking pictures and told me to move along.
Okay, you scofflaw you. Oh wow.
That's a northern flicker, and that was just a couple of weeks ago. He was sitting in Walla Walla Park, and he was just digging for worms, I guess, or bugs. And I got down onto the ground with him, and I took that picture. And I'm probably less than 15 feet away from him. So, and I shot it with this lens. That's another tip I can give really quick. If you want to shoot birds or animals, try to get to their eye level.
Oh yeah, it makes perfect sense. We'll make this the last photo as we get close to wrap this
I
up.
think this was last year, and that's also at Walla Walla Point. The osprey are really good at fishing, obviously, and this was kind of just happened. I was taking pictures, and I saw the osprey, and he had a fish, and I thought the fishing boat in the back. I thought that was kind of a nice.
So from somebody who's an amateur, have you thought about doing this? I mean, Frank Cohn Photography, go down to the City Hall and get a business license and make a go of it, or is it just?
Well, I really like to take pictures. I think my real dream is if someone said, "Hey, Frank, we love your photos. We want to sell them. We want to market them." I would just give them a percentage and let them do that, and I could just go out and take more photos. So I don't really want to be on the business side of it.
Well, we'll wrap it up with this, Frank. Some people who are watching this show, one of the many thousands and thousands and thousands of people who watch the show every day, they say, "Hey, Frank Cohn, can I get a print of that? I'd love to have that hang in my house or up at my cabin." What do they do? How do they get a hold of you?
They can fcohn@nwi.net.
That's easy enough.
They can email me. Okay.
Do you have a portfolio that people can publicly look at? Or
I do. I have a Flickr page, and I'm not sure of that, but I can give that to you later so you can get that information out if that works.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Frank, we should meet up in Albertsons more often.
We should, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and say hi to your mom for you.
Okay, I will do that.
And it's always good to see you, Frank.
Thank you.
Frank Cohn, my friend, my best photographer around, bar none. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
The all-new Yamaha Wolverine X4 offers 4 times the proven off-road capability, 4 times the comfort, and 4 times the confidence to deliver 4 times the excitement on your next outdoor adventure.
Spring has finally arrived, and with the new spring colors comes Easter. There's plenty of good reasons to shop at Wenatchee Valley Mall, like a visit with the Easter Bunny. The Bunny will be at the mall through March 31st in the center court. Find the times the Bunny is hopping on in under the Events tab. From haircuts to new shoes and everything in between, Wenatchee Valley Mall has it all under one roof. Get all springy with yourself now at the Wenatchee Valley Mall. Got about a minute left on this show. If you're just joining us, I was at the Wenatchee Eastmont incredible soccer game last night at Lee Bofto Field at the Apple Bowl, and I'm still a little punky. You'll have to excuse me. Let's close out the show with one more look at your weather forecast. Temperatures slightly above normal. Normal high temperature around this time of the year is about 57, 58, so about normal today. Very pleasant stretch of weather here. Friday, Saturday, Easter Sunday, as you can see there. Partly cloudy and 61 degrees. We cool down and increase on the precipitation as we get to the first full week in April. But all in all, pretty dry and pretty seasonal temperatures expected for the foreseeable future for the Wenatchee Valley proper. I'll let you know what's going on for the rest of the week on this program. Arch Ecker, the broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild, will be here tomorrow. The Wild have moved on to the next round of the playoffs. They'll take on the Trail Smoke Eaters. We'll preview that series. That is tomorrow on this program. And then on Friday, Randy Smith, the cross guy, the guy who started the whole put the cross up on the heights thing, among other things. He'll be my guest on Good Friday. Everybody have a great Wednesday. Curly says hi. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.